everything off of chemicals to make the plants to make you think you're eating food. In 1930, America was already depleted in nutrients in the soil. It's never been fixed since 1930s.
How do we restore? How do
Composting, organic, growing.
grow your own food?
Well, yeah, but that's the best way to do it now. Grow your own food. Have you ever had your own farm? Have you ever grown your own food? Do you know what real food tastes like compared to what a store has?
Oh yeah, but some of it takes an adjustment. Like at first, I have a new, or even if I'm trying a new food from another country, did you know that there is other other grain types like in Africa that you never even heard of before? Sorghum, for instance, and onyx sorghum, like all these different. I started spelt and all these other ones. I started looking. I'm like, wow, there's like all these other grains we could be making pizza bread, pizza dough out of, or bread out of. But it's like you got
If
to
you go
order it off of Amazon or something.
if you go to Indian stores, you'll see that they have a full shelf of different flours that you don't see in American stores at all. We used to just have one flour. Now we have coconut wheat flour and almond flour. But in Indian stores,
Yeah, but a
they'll have
lot of this doesn't. I mean, have you
chickpea
seen?
flour.
You look at some of these ancient grains, and
Sorghum is one of the number ones. Get rid of your
sorghum's
other.
incredible, dude. I'm like, I wish they had, and I don't get like, I really think
Quinoa,
it's an
quinoa is
issue
now
that I don't
quinoa is on
think
the red list now.
I think there is a level of control and fear, but I think more people are they bring more fear upon themselves than they realize because it's like if everyone right now in America started buying sorghum, I guarantee all the main companies would start using sorghum. Yes, they might start adding fillers to it, this and that.
Americans don't research to educate themselves, so it takes a long
Self
time.
we have the internet. There's no reason that we should be not
Other
educating
cultures are doing
ourselves.
things. Other cultures are doing things original. So the original, like Italians, take off the skin and the seeds of a tomato because it's poison. Why is it poison? They don't know. Where did they get the information from? They don't know. But what did science finally discovered? It's filled with the lectins. When you remove the skin of a tomato and the seeds, you don't get the lectins. Therefore, it's not going to poison your body. The Italians also, and the Greeks and the other Mediterranean, they use olive oil. Olive oil blocks the lectins. So now you fix that. The Indians only do their beans and lentils in a pressure cooker. Pressure cookers were shown to destroy the lectins. That's why they're not getting the same diseases and sicknesses as Americans. The canned beans, there's like only a couple of companies with canned beans. If you're going to get canned beans, you got to get the ones that say pressure cooked. So you know you're not getting the poison that comes with it.
That's marketing, though. I mean, we as people can grow our own food. People that believe in this stuff, which there's like hundreds of thousands on Facebook, that they're like, you need to grow your own food, blame it on the system, blame it on this, and it's like, no, why don't you grow your own food? Go start your own product company, start selling it at the flea market. You know what I mean? Or starts, dude, I lived in Portland, Oregon, and there was a guy who had nearly a full-time business. It wasn't a full-time business, but on the weekends he would make pretty good money from selling his own fruits and vegetables at his house in a little gazebo type thing.
Yeah, they do that in New York, man.
But then there's regulation. I mean, it's not too hard, but they do. The
The,
FDA needs an overhaul, dude. The
the
FDA needs a complete overhaul. Whoever's in charge of the FDA needs to be fired. And and we need someone new. It's like, yeah, we do need regulation. I don't want salmonella poisoning. I do believe in government. I don't believe in big government. I believe in the people being the government.
Yeah, yeah. That's what America was supposed to be.
That's what it
We're
was
all,
supposed to be. That's what it was, and now we reverted to like a Roman type of British type of system.
yeah, we got kings and queens again.
We got kings and queens again, and they're not good ones. Or they may be good, but they may be uneducated. I also think even a lot of the leaders or the elite or this or that, they're just uneducated. Plain and
No one
simple.
in government
They're
became
not.
millionaires or billionaires. Do you see that? That's the problem. They get into government to become an elite rich person. That's not what's supposed to happen. Leaving all the Americans behind. They're the ones with the American dream. That's the only ones left. There's other families, the oil families and all that stuff. They're all rich and all that
Okay,
stuff.
but back to starting your own stuff. Who is stopping you right now from starting your own business? It's education. You can go down to the Chamber of Commerce. You can go get a business license. Yes, my saying is that half of life is paperwork and half of life is showing up. The other half. Half of life is paperwork and the other half of life is showing up. And people are lazy, I think. Why is it?
Because it's in our system now. I'm trying to eradicate it. I used to be able to just do stuff when I woke up and be all energized. I don't even do what I love. I can't. I don't have any energy. Every time I think about it, I'm like, oh, I'm tired. I'm going to lay it down again. That's what I'm telling you. Fucking broken. Something got in my system. I'm fucking broke.
Do you think it's a? Do you think it's?
Right now,
How much of this is just a byproduct, though? Okay, so like we're
right now,
surrounded.
I'm telling you about the lectins because that's what I'm learning to eat. Okay? So my body's fighting it. I'm psychologically fucking myself all the time, every day, because my body wants something and I'm telling it no, and it's fighting me and it's shutting my energy levels down and it's fucking with me. I can't maintain my normal self. I can't get there yet because I'm changing my whole biosystem. I'm changing it. So it's giving me havoc. It's destroying me because
You're addicted to these foods, or why?
we're usually addicted to a lot of things, but am I eradicating it? It takes me over. It takes over.
What if it's those microbiomes that are taking over
I
your
gotta
system?
do it because I'm not gonna go back to work and be like I'm working for nothing and I'm just a slave again.
Well, we're all a slave to something, I think.
But I can't get anything done. My whole life is like I can't get anything done. Either no one
Everyone's
believes
telling me
me.
this, though. Everyone's telling me this. So what is the
Yeah,
reason? Is it we're surrounded and bombarded by radiation, Wi-Fi radiation, Bluetooth radiation, even
it's
the 60 hertz per second electricity in the walls. I mean,
so it's a possibility.
it's changing our own frequencies, the satellites and the radio waves and everything. It's bombarding us, and we don't know where. Maybe we don't know where our own frequency is, or we don't know how to find the frequency of the
Dude,
mother
I
of
have more
Earth.
energy when I'm in the woods camping, getting things done, than I do when I'm home.
Do
you
you
know?
feel I think everyone would agree that you have more energy in the shower. Why is it because the water is, I mean, even fluorinated water. Anytime I'm in water is it have something to do with us developing in the womb and being in that water, or is it the frequency of water being healing, or
It's the frequencies of the sound of the shower head.
so then go to YouTube. I've done this before,
That's my
and
research.
I type in shower sounds, literally.
Well, it's just American Indians. They said they were comfortable when they were by the waterfalls. You're breathing in negative ions, and you're protected by a negative ion field that helps you align and attach yourself to the earth. The sound of the water helps the brain with meditation. That's why people like the sound of fans, air conditioners on, noise. The white noise is what it is. So you can just download one of those healing apps, turn on the white noise, and see how it affects you like the shower. But you're not getting negative ions. So what you can do is you can buy some salt lamps and then have the negative ions build up in the bedroom.
So get a salt lamp and put a little speaker inside of it, or a Bluetooth speaker next to it with the
No,
shower sounds.
well,
You know,
yeah,
we kind of like kind of not a terrarium, but what's it called when you terraforming or whatever? Like you do it with your pets and stuff, where it's like we may not have all the resources, but we can artificially
terrarium.
terrarianate our own environments
Look,
inside of our own house.
look in the studies of terrarium by NASA in Arizona. It didn't work out well. It became a disaster.
All
They
right, hold
don't.
on. Terrarium. What is it?
NASA was doing research on living on Mars, and they made a terrarium for human beings.
I
The
see
study,
inside Biosphere 2, the world's largest Earth science experiment. I'm seeing those little put a
yeah,
plant inside of a bottle and it lasts 100 years. I don't see the NASA one.
we got to find the one that they did. It might be the first one that was done in Arizona.
I'm seeing the scandal in the biosphere. Okay.
It's 6,600.
So when you see that, you got to find the one that was a disaster. There's newer ones I think that came out later because they're still trying to figure out what are we missing that the humans die in the we think we got everything we want in the terrarium biosphere, but they're dying. They're losing weight. There's problems with the human system over time. It's not good. What's missing? What are we getting by being outside? I think it's the bacteria in the microbiome, but maybe NASA wasn't looking into that yet. But you know what they had? High elevated levels of heavy metals in their blood.
Yeah, but there's, grow your own food. You can grow your own stuff.
They were
And
growing their
it's
own.
not hard. It's
Wasn't
really
working.
cheap. How much are these?
It wasn't working for them.
Dude, they
It
got a
was
$15 bulb and $15 light bulb on Amazon, and you can just grow your own food, and there's just no excuse. It should be a requirement. You know what I mean? Like, we have stupid laws. Why don't we have a stupid law that says everyone has to grow their own food
you
and
get a
share it with each other?
Well, my ex-girlfriend did it. She got a hydroponic system and grew her own food to get rid of her cancer.
And did it work?
Oh yeah, until she felt so great that she thought she can cheat again, and then the cancer just came back.
Oh yeah, you heal them and then they run with what you gave them. Yep, that's pretty common.
They're sugar eaters, So she was like, "Oh man, I feel so good. I want to have a party." Because she liked to drink. She had to cut out drinking. She deprived herself of all the things that were toxic to the system, and completely stopped the cancer and the tumor.
What's the bottom line? What's the bottom line to it though? She wasn't healed. You healed her, and she became a better and different person.
Well, she healed
And she
herself.
didn't.
We were talking about stuff. That's how I know about
But
cancer.
you were her catalyst. So
Well, she taught me from the beginning. I know what I know because she made me research it back in '92.
why don't you try finding a woman who's already at your level though?
I try to find that same woman.
The same woman and different women.
Yeah, not like I'm being spiteful or something. I'm the same, the same kind of makeup.
No, I hate wasting time in this life because it's so short. So the times that I've invested so much into, it's not even just a woman, just people, and they end up falling into fear. It discourages me because I'm like, there's a saying by Tupac, and it is, I have no time for anybody. I have no patience for anyone who doubts me. You know what I mean? And where something happens, I'm a human being, and I make mistakes. But what makes me different is that I quickly correct them, or I seek out the information to correct them, and I'm trying to do things that no one has ever done before. So it's like, yeah, I'm gonna mess up a lot. I'm gonna continue to mess up, but at least I'm stepping out. And if I stayed within the boundaries of doing simple things, I would crush the game on everything. If I was just, oh, let me live the normal life, I would crush everything because I'm way above that. But then people living a normal life, they see my light. I don't know if you ever encountered this, and I don't think it's just me. I think it's a lot of light workers that we got a lot of leeches. We got a lot of the energy vampires that try to take advantage of our light until they fill up their own light, and then realize, and then try to fill it up from other people. And I'm going way off topic here, but it really has discouraged me that I don't know that people are weak or that people take advantage of the light workers, people take advantage of the star seeds, and I'm tired of it. We need to set our line down and say, you know what? Let me just focus on the star seeds. Let me just focus on the light workers. Let me make that my little zone of people, and we can
When,
protect our.
when you're when you're a sociopath, you're just a plaything
Yeah, but we
because
need to protect ourselves. Oh yeah, you're a
because
play toy.
yeah, because you have a heart and you feel, and that's easy to manipulate.
Yep, and then you're disposable, and we need to stop being disposable and saying, you know,
No, we need a system that makes sure that not 100% of them all make it to the top and become rich assholes. You know?
yeah, so many people that are at the top are sociopaths or
Yeah, because that's the only way to climb to the top because they do so much evil with themselves. They're fucking themselves over all the time without any emotional attachment or care that they did that.
they have no disregard, but that,
No empathy is what makes them drive. They don't have empathy, so there's
but
no
do
worry.
I think a lot of it is learned. I think if you learn that that stuff is okay at a young level, or if it's recycled over
All
and
of
over,
those different paths or narcissists and sociopaths, they're all made peoples. Society makes them. They're
well,
made.
they blame it on genetics. They blame it on
No,
genetics.
it's
That
made. It's self-made.
I
It's
think
in,
gene expression has more to do with things like, okay, maybe I do think there's a lot of things that are real. Schizophrenia, autism, I think a lot of these things are real. And I do think that they're expressed, where it's like, had they been in a different environment, a peaceful environment, a healthy environment, I don't think any of these genes would have ever expressed. Maybe if they didn't get the vaccine as a little kid, because that's where there's all this controversy. They're like, well, no, it's not vaccines, but then it's this, it's
it's
that.
microbiome is what I see it as. The microbiome is creating a toxic substance that they stay in a state of autism.
I think it's permanent, though. I think some of these are permanent expressions.
Yeah, they may be, they might not be.
Yeah, well, some of it, it just may take so much. I mean, even in my own situation, is that I've spent the good majority of my life reverting bad programming, bad habits, learned habits,
Yeah,
and like not building, but I've spent a good majority of my life fixing my childhood. And I think a lot of people haven't had a good
we
childhood.
all have to do that, no matter how you're brought up. Everyone has a different level of it, but we all do that because there's no book on parenting, and they're all making mistakes at different levels, creating the different personality types. You know what I mean? First they said, oh, we're supposed to grow up at instinct. What instinct?
Primal instinct of just,
But you're not supposed to be a single parent or two parents. You're supposed to be a tribe because we're social beings. We don't have a tribe anymore.
that brings me back to growing your own food, which is like, why are we not taking it upon ourselves to talk to our neighbors? I guarantee if we don't even have neighborhoods anymore, everyone stays in their own house, and it's like, how many people, even in your circumstance, how many people, like, do you know all your neighbors?
No, I don't even go on social.
See what I'm saying? Like, even there, if we could come together, we don't need to focus on the world right now. We need to focus on ourselves. And we need to focus on our families. We need to focus on our neighbor. Like, It could just be so simple. Let's focus on our neighbor. Let's just focus on our one neighbor, and then let's focus on the next neighbor. But we need to focus on ourselves instead of putting so much attention on other people. And you know what I mean? It's just like we're so outwardly motivated, and so many people are afraid to be alone and realize that they have their own thoughts, they have their own world. It's like, can you imagine if everyone's world was to be expressed?
Like
How
what?
creative, just, oh, I would do it this, like, think about like an engineering team or something. And they've got 100, 200,000 engineers working on one thing. They're able to innovate something new and bring these new products to people. We could all do that already. You don't need the degree to start tinkering. None of these old inventors had degrees. They built stuff. Nikola Tesla, I don't think he had any degrees.
He went to school. He had professors, and his curiosity was. I think what started him was his curiosity. Why does you rub the cat, and then all of a sudden you touch something, you get electric shock when the winter comes. You
Boom.
know?
Bingo. You said the key word, though, which is curiosity. Acting on our curiosity.
You have to stay a child forever and be curious. That's why I still talk like I'm a kid. You know, I'm all this curiosity. You know, Joe Rogan,
Activate,
curious. You know?
Activating your inner child, but educating your inner child on life. Because the inner child that is not educated on life can get its feelings hurt. Because I think a child, which the inner child really is the right brain. I think that's where it lies, and we start shutting off our right brain. We start shutting off our female. We start shutting off our inner child. These are all interchangeable words, I think. And when you shut that off, you lose a part of yourself. I also
Who's your
think,
friend?
huh?
Who's your magical friend when you're a kid? Your imaginary friend?
I never had an imaginary friend, but
No, children do, right?
yeah.
That's the right brain.
It's
What do
identifying.
parents do to their kids? They,
You can't have that, this and that. So educate them, you know?
no. They tell them to stop that. Stop. Your imaginary friend's over. They're imaginary. Then they go, oh, okay. But how do you know that wasn't access to the spirit that gives you the information you needed? They don't know nothing. You know, parents just go with the society. Your child still speaks to an imaginary friend? Oh, don't they need to know?
Why
You
not
mean
just let them, why not just, like a hallucination, for instance? Why don't you go play, because it's a fine balance, you know? Like, you start encouraging your friend, you start encouraging your children to have imaginary friends, they may grow up having imaginary friends as an adult, or how do we know it's not a phase? See what I'm saying? So this is going back into parenting.
Yeah.
It's hard. There's no blueprint. There is some guidelines, but there's no blueprint for how to be a perfect parent, and I don't think you could ever be a perfect parent.
Right, because they don't know. They don't know nothing. They just say.
Well, what would you do, and how would you change that? How would you? Your kid
I would.
starts out.
I would let the expression of the child continue to see where that child develops. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry, I messed up the child.
So you're saying it's better to at least encourage them.
I think it's better to take the risk and the experiment than try to make the child something normal. My child would be.
Who's to say they're not? Who's to say they're not right though? What if there's an organ in the body that taps into higher dimensional realms, and they were talking to a real entity?
You don't know, but people don't think that way. Psychiatrists would just say you got to stop the child from doing that.
And I would tell the psychiatrist, they have not mapped the connectome yet. Do you know how every neuron communicates to each other? They don't know how the brain works yet.
Yeah, but you're already thinking that there's something different out there. Other people just see that as they don't know what it is and stop
Go.
it.
I'm gonna look up right now, dude. The connectome.
I
Like,
bet, I bet you they give kids medicine now to shut it off.
yeah, they do. They do. I was given 88. I was given Adderall as when I was
So
younger.
me too.
But do you know how they're not even close to mapping the human connectome? The closest they got to mapping the human, like, I'm not, I'm not sure in our lifetime they'll map where each wire in the brain, and they're all assignable. I think they're reassignable. You know what I mean? Do you know what the connectome is? Like the wiring of the brain.
Yeah. It's the most complex thing in the universe. They can't even get a computer to work right. Come on, give me a break.
You can't even get a computer to work right.
They don't know how to make medicine to work right. They don't even know all the elements that's in an apple. You know what I'm saying? If they knew how to make, you know...
They did map the connectome of the worm, though, which is impressive.
I don't know.
They made a little robot out of it or something. What was it, like a... So yeah, it's just... I'm thinking too, because it's my goal within like the next few years to be a dad and to have a good woman and to have children. So a lot of this really, you never know what your child's going to become or how they're going to act. And I'm trying to think about this stuff deeply, meditate on it, and to say, you know what's going to happen when I run into these circumstances? And how am I going to act differently, because I don't want them to be limited. I don't want my kids to be limited. If you were a dad, then what would you do differently? How would you evolve your children to the next level and not limit them?
I'd probably just try to see, you know, whatever's the natural path. I know that more stimulus creates more connections. So I know that the kids' brains and our brains, to form a personality and to form everything, it's continuously recording. All of the recordings from the emotions of your mom are in your system. Well, everything that was being able to be recorded, what you went through while you were in the womb, is your recordings. When you came out and everyone's speaking, and they're dumb adults saying the child doesn't understand language yet, it doesn't understand it yet, but everything you spoke will be deciphered when it is.
They understand frequency, though. I think
Yeah.
if you're angry in the womb, I think kids are being programmed in the womb by their mother's voice, by what the environment of their mother at a young age.
And outside, you can still hear inside the liquid holding tank, you know, the womb. You're hearing other people. It's being recorded. Her emotions are being recorded. If the person that was around the mother made her feel a certain way, those are being recorded. When you see your mother acting a certain way, you're already going to feel her emotions because you felt the chemicals of when you were in there. You know what I'm saying?
You're saying, like if she has stress chemicals, if she has...
Yeah, you're going to feel it. You got the adrenaline too. You got the stress too. You felt the cortisol. You felt the whatever else that happened.
Cortisol is a big problem, which I think is limiting our capacity to think as humans.
Yeah, I'm probably filled with it, dude. I've been doing this for 3 months now. I wasted 3 months. I'm trying to
look
build
up cortisol herbs. Cortisol herbs. Is there herbs that can... How to flush cortisol out of the body? 5 ways to lower cortisol. Adaptogens, man. Coming back to that. The thing is, like with computers, we have access to all this information. I'm talking about all this stuff. I can search it all up just on YouTube. People are lazy.
People are entertained. No one does research, man. I talk to people, man. I break their brains. I'm way too complex. I start talking with some people, and it's just like, boom, destruction. I can burn people out within minutes, and we're talking for hours, and I still have storage. I'm getting a little tired, but I can burn someone out in 10 minutes with a couple of thoughts of, what do you think of infinity? Do you think that, aliens exist and things go infinite? How could things be infinite unless you're in a computer? Infinity can only be in a computer, and everyone's like, what the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck, what are you talking about? Oh my god, I'm thinking too much. Boom, I'll take your vitamin Bs, but what's good about it, I can program them now. That's one of the techniques, because now they're in hypnosis. You break them so fast, they go right into hypnosis, and then you can subject information into their mind.
That's what they do. That's MK Ultra. That's all these other things where they're breaking the mind in order. But
But what
people
are they
do this on
breaking?
an unconscious. They're breaking your left brain, your guardian. They're breaking
They're breaking your
your.
vitamin. You don't have enough storage because you don't get enough in your system.
Well, cells just store and release energy. It's like batteries. Think of all your blood cells as little batteries.
Yeah, that's ATP. That's made by your microbiome. But if your microbiome in your intestines is not happy, you don't get energy because they're dying. You just think you're bloated. You think you have an upset stomach. You take some antacid, whatever it is. No, they're dying and they're suffering and they don't have a way to express themselves because they only express themselves when they're in packs of trillions at certain levels. If they're too quiet because there's not enough of them, you don't have access. That's why grandma shuts down and be like, I'm done with this world. It's over. I'm done. Grandma, I know you have a lot to live for. I just don't feel like eating. Her microbiome probably got massively affected. It take the emotions down. There's your depression. There's your death. There's your suicide. Your environment in your system has changed. Your thoughts have changed, and you have issues. And now they don't eat, and they look for death. And then they go out peacefully sometimes, You'll see old people that are just like, stop eating.
Well, I mean that's the cycle of life and death, but it's like I
Maybe.
don't think we're living enough during our life where we can. Can you imagine if the entire Earth was healed, if all of our bullcrap was taken away, where it's like, I don't know, the conscious rappers are number one, and you got 500 million people watching this, and everything's in alignment, and our cortisol levels are low, and we all have universal basic income. And just imagine the level that we'd each be functioning at as individuals.
Entertainment.
We just need better entertainment. You've heard of Gaia, right?
Just entertain the species. You got control of them. Get them addicted. Know what is addictive and control them. You're not going to solve the people's problems until you get rid of the food system that creates addictive control, dopamine control. But you can't. It's gotten worse. That's what the cell phones do. Dopamine control. Oh, who's texting me? Oh, oh, oh. Is anyone on Facebook? Oh, gotta get that. Oh God, what else can I get off my phone that gives satisfaction for dopamine? There's no drugs on the.
But they're not. I don't think there's so many people. So I do think it's an intertangled thing. So where you got like people on Facebook, they want to make more money. The people that own Facebook. I just think it's carelessness, right? And then there's all of these byproducts from carelessness, where it's like, does that make sense? That there are people I think there's less control about it, and just carelessness creates byproducts that are bad for us. Where it's like, I don't think they so much sought out to control people's dopamine levels through Facebook, but that's a byproduct
No,
because they want to sell more like they want to sell more product through ads and reading your data and data scraping your information, but they're just selling you stuff. They are like,
how do you program the people? Take their vitamin B's
well,
down.
why is there not a dislike button on the reel?
Yeah,
Why is there not a dislike button?
but it's angry dude.
Oh yeah, there's the angry dude. That's the dislike button.
But that took a while for that to even be there. That took years.
I still don't think. I still don't understand. Do you realize how limited Facebook is, or no? In the 20. Do you realize how there's just so many elements missing from it, and it's like
It's
a
it's a piece
box?
of system.
It's a what?
It's a piece of shit system, and
It's a.
why there's
It has
no.
not grown at the rate that if had Tom, if you're watching this, shout out. Tom from MySpace was if he would have stayed in power for the social media systems, he would have innovated, I think, way further. You know what I mean? Like, to me, it seems like it's there's more limitations on Facebook than there is uh, innovation.
You know, there's I always told coders, man, I want to code some stuff. We're gonna make the new system. But
If I get enough money in this lifetime, I'm thinking about making a social network for light workers.
I pretty much know how to take out fucking Facebook and Google
How?
at the same time. You know, because I can take probably more than half their revenue.
How?
I'm not gonna say it, dude. I've been holding that into my system for so long. The one
Oh
guy
yeah,
that
well
was,
then don't put it in the ether because someone else might download it.
don't even
I
think about
believe
it.
that I don't think your skull can contain all the vibrations and frequencies. I think if you think thoughts, it's like channeling or tapping into stuff. I think that if you put thoughts out there, I think people can grab onto them. That's my
Steve
personal.
Jobs did. I think Steve Jobs heard me. I did a lot of development and trying to make talking to creative labs. You know, creative. Remember the Rio player and the creative labs? Remember those? No.
The little MP3 player before the iPod or during
Yeah,
the
all of
iPod.
those things, right? I was trying to talk to creative labs about making a professional recording music device. Stop with this crap that's worse than a tape and worse than a a CD. When you already had the technology out there to make it something amazing that would blow up. And they looked at me like, what are you talking about? You know, we don't need to make this with that technology. And then fucking Apple came with the iPod. I'm like, that's what I was fucking talking about, you stupid creative people.
I invented the Nintendo DS. I sent it to. I drew it out like almost identical, and I sent it to Nintendo. They did send me a letter back,
Uh-huh.
and they're like, "Well, we have our own." I don't remember what the letter said, and I mean, my mom saw the letter and everything. I'm just surprised they actually mailed me back. But
Well, it's very nice that they did, though.
yeah, it was cool to have a letter from Nintendo. But
That's
I
what I
think
was.
I invented the Nintendo DS.
Well, you could have definitely had a percentage in its development.
Yeah, I mean, I just did the a drawing schematic of it, so it wasn't like I did all the hard work of research and development and chemical engineers of plastics and manufacturing process. So I had like I think I designed the basic look of it, drawing like a sketch. whatever that's called, where you draw the sketch.
The one
Because
thing
I
I
mean,
did,
it came out, it looked like exactly like my sketch, but maybe there was like 1,000 other boys out there who also did the same thing. So, you know what I mean? Like when you have an idea and then you see it on TV and you're like, that was my idea,
yeah,
which shows how I think we are connected and we can pick up on other people's information. Because if it's all frequencies, it's just like, okay, how can I tune into that radio channel? How can I
now
tune?
you know how they developed Wi-Fi.
Well, have you ever seen the spectrum allocation chart?
I don't know. But what is the spectrum of brainwaves?
It's like 0 to 12 hertz or something, supposedly. But what about the in-betweens and the
How does
in-betweens?
information
Because
travel?
there's it, there's spectrums in between spectrums. You know what I mean? Like half spectrum or a half signal or whatever it's called.
Yeah, but eventually they'll figure out how a radio
How do you think
station.
they? I think they already have. I think
Well,
they
they'll override
look
the
at
phone.
the CIA documents of being able, of mind control. I just think if you're tuned into your heart, that the heart's magnetic field, they haven't figured out the heart frequencies yet.
Right.
So I think it's like we need to get out of our mind into our heart. Um, I think that's the only place to hide.
Yeah, but where's the one that has the controller to control you like a robot?
You can. I don't think that's possible. I think if you're like if you're super in your brain, then you could be controlled. But we experience that without technology. We experience that with other people, where people are controlling your emotions based off manipulation.
The bacteria do it already.
But I think
What's
there is
scary?
it's have you ever seen in what's that movie Inception, where you go into
Look,
somebody's dream and they're looking for the problem, where like I think you can only get away with it for so long before someone figures out that they're being manipulated because they can. Does that make sense? If you ever had someone try to manipulate you and then you have
yeah,
a
they're
weird.
they're usually supposed to be narcissists.
Yeah, well, when I was younger and my gifts were less developed, I I
Sociopaths.
I still, yeah, I've had sociopaths. I've dated several sociopaths.
Right.
I mean, some were still soulmates, but you can have a soulmate, be a sociopath as well.
They're
And
super manipulators.
I have seen sociopaths love in their own way, where they're like, does that make sense? Where they learn to love in a way based off the fact that they don't really.
They pretend because they learn to mimic. Their emotions are based off of
You don't think
mimicking.
a sociopath could love
No,
at all,
rather,
or
I'd
some version of love.
no, they think they love.
What is it? What do you think it is then?
What is it? It's
Yeah, what
learned
is it?
behavior. It's a learned mimicking. They're actors.
Can you
That
learn that something is good for you though? Can you learn that? I guess is it's producing a better
what you
result in
would
your life.
learn is not do what your mind says it wants to manipulate.
But
Because
then that's
someone
saying that you can't rewire your neural synapses. And then have you ever heard of what's called neuroplasticity?
they would have to be actively wanting to do that. That's not feeding their dopamine. That's
So
feeding.
you think being a sociopath is partly an addiction, a very deep-rooted addiction.
Yeah, because it's a reward system. They're working off a reward. Manipulate to get the reward. Manipulate to get the
Because
reward.
I feel in my own life that I dated a sociopath girl that we didn't work out, but I think I broke her. I broke her sociopathness by loving her to the point where it broke. I don't know, something broke within her, like where she felt something.
It's not like they're devoid of feelings. They have certain feelings.
I know, but I think it's a rewiring, that all those feelings are rewired, and I feel like in a way I kind of broke through to this girl that was a sociopath and broke something in her
Then write
and
it down.
rewired. Huh?
It'd be good for psychiatrists.
Do what?
Write down the technique because it might be good for psychiatrists.
This was like,
It's just a code, man.
this was a lot of, what's the, I mean, the code is I don't think there's really a, okay, they already wrote it down. It's called the Bible. Unconditional love.
The
Fighting
Bible,
your
the
fighting
Bible's
your own emotions to the point like where your biology is not ruling you and you're being in your heart and you're being in your spirit. I think that's we identify so much with our body that we can't transcend it. And you're forever limited by the processes happening. And if you can transcend it as being like a radio wavelength, controlling the body, and you can kind of hover over yourself and kind of watching yourself, being awareness, then I think you could transcend it. But they don't teach this stuff in psychology. They're not going to teach you that stuff. They're going to drug you up and they're going to. So, I mean, go to the East. Go to the East, and I think you're going to see a lot of these people being able to transcend this stuff. Even on the small level of, oh, I have to have sex. Because it's the only feeling that I have of the merging of the divine masculine, divine feminine energies being merged together. But I really think it's all within ourselves.
what's in yourself.
Everything.
You do have full control of everything, but people are not sitting there getting into their own brain and controlling it. That's what the pandemic was supposed to open up. Now's the time that everyone can wake up and realize how the world is. Read some shit on Buddha or something. No, they put Netflix on. They absorbed the entire catalog.
For sure. Well, it's 7:15 here. I'm gonna go get some kombucha and some other stuff. I can hit you up in a little bit, but I've basically been sitting down doing computer work like all day long, and I need to get out there, out into society. And I will say though, dude, don't hook up with cashiers.
Yeah, sure. What was that movie?
I've been so busy in life that like I've dated like 3 different cashiers, man. And for some reason, maybe it's just in my own life. Maybe there's cashiers that are perfectly fine. And then, yeah, I don't know. It's just like really easy to I hope nobody like, I don't know. It's like an easy tip for like meeting women. You just, talk to your cashier. It's surprising how many beautiful cashiers that there is, like at Whole Foods and stuff.
That's marketing, man.
What do you mean?
That's management marketing.
Oh, that they're selectively like hiring, the managers are hiring.
And when they get caught doing that, there'll be those people that will fight them for it. Look at Hooters, man. What was Hooters all about? Man, they got in so much trouble. Oh, you're just not letting fat girls work? Oh, you're not letting these people work? Oh, because you can't wear shorts because you got cellulite, I can't work? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I got a special business and it requires a certain look. It's a Hollywood look, They can't even fucking get through that.
Well, I do believe in health, but I do believe in health. Um,
Health.
but that's just such a deeply ingrained topic that it's like, you know
It's
what I
not even
mean? Like,
Yeah, but they're
We, we
discovering.
don't we don't need to be promoting unhealthiness. We can't
Yes, but
promote.
what I'm realizing is they don't know what it is because now that these lectin things are being found out, now we have to change our food or put the lectin blockers in to eat the food or use a pressure cooker.
So make
You
a
can't,
GMO. Like I'm not against GMOs. I'm against the methods that they use to make them. Right? What if you're using sacred geometry to make GMOs? Like everything's selective breeding. Even us as species of humans, we're also everything's selective breeding. And I think the word GMO has such a bad connotation because they use it to block or for Roundup Ready, BT maize, and all these different things where it's like they haven't used GMOs to enhance the vitamin content. They haven't used GMOs to like block lectins or something. They've used it just for their own profitability so they can sell seeds that don't even produce seeds. So that every single harvest they have to continue selling you seeds. And then you're dependent on them and then your farm is limited by that you have to keep using that same seed.
system of control.
Exactly. So
So once you become infertile, you'll have to go to the doctor to become fertile.
but I mean if we can combat a lot of this stuff. It's like, how am I thriving?
You
And I'm in
can.
the same system and everybody else. I'm in the same system as everyone else. I have the same Windows 10 operating system and Google as everyone else. I have the same Whole Foods and the same grocery stores. I have the same system as everyone else. And I feel the pressures and I feel all this stuff, but I'm also learning and I'm doing stuff about it. I'm not making excuses for why I am unable to help one person at a time.
What do you mean?
You're not making excuses for it. Yes, we are in a corrupt system, but I think as individuals we can combat it. It's like, okay, it's just gonna beat me up and I'm just gonna take it. But yo, I gotta get going, so peace, love to you. I'm gonna let you
Uh,
play your video game and try to get some music done.
well, that ain't happening because that was I got it. I'm not getting my work done. The music's not going to get there. I built up my whole fucking morning from 5 o'clock in the morning to do that today. Now I'm into the system of self-destruction. Not going to fucking happen. I got to get
I
it done
think
before my birthday. The house has got to be clean. The fuck,
I think
dude.
a lot of people are going like, dude, everyone's hit me up and they're on the path of self-destruction. Do
Yeah,
you think
man, I
there's
got to
something
get
in
out.
the air? What is it? You think it's the astrology?
No, man, I already had my path. I was already working on it, man. I got out of the gym. You
Well,
got to let's do podcasting. I didn't have time for any of this shit, but what the fuck?
well,
I'll
I'm sure
take.
I think a lot of people appreciate it because low
I'll
key
watch
on
the
the
things die.
low key on the low. I just got podcast number 3. I just recorded this whole thing for 50 minutes. So there you go, man. I'm not wasting your time here. I'm gonna start recording everyone I talk to low key and just making podcasts because it's more real and
We
it's
can't,
authentic.
man, because we talked about subjects that they're completely illegal.
Good. Google, come find me. You know where to find me.
It's all speculation. It's not
It's
even
all
like
speculation. Come
you'll
and
have so
find,
many
dude. I
people.
got
You'll create a war of people fucking conversating with you with hatred.
awesome. Let's do it because
That's
the
not
fact that
awesome.
it is
They'll
awesome.
no, because
Dude,
they'll find
I've
out.
got, dude, some of my best friends are some of the best hackers in the world. It's like, I'm protected. The best they're gonna do is put me in a hospital, or something like
Yeah,
that.
but
And I've got
people
too
know
many people.
where I live. You understand? They know
We're,
where I live. It's online. My name's there. I'm not using a fucking fake name.
it's fine, dude. It's fine.
No,
This is 2021. The
yeah,
information revolution
it's
is
the time when
here.
you get rid of people. Time. This is the year. That's why people are getting. Do you watch the news on the fucking people's heads are getting cut off?
That's paranoia of the Middle East. We're not in that, but yo,
No, it's France, dude. It's France.
it's fine. When we talk about Google something, they're just gonna be like, these are crazy people. They're crazy. They're gonna label us in the box of Kanye West. So vote for Kanye West. Vote, dude. Elect the crazy people. We need more crazy because at least crazy people have ideas. At least we're trying to innovate. But yo, I'm gonna get going.
You
We're not gonna
learn
get
from people,
we're not gonna
man.
get killed or anything for the people that'll get killed is they try to break the system. They
Dude, I
try
have
to,
enough phone calls.
huh?
I have enough fucking phone calls that I block every fucking day.
Don't live in fear though, my friend. Live in peace and love. The
I
thing
live in
is,
more fear every day.
get rid of it.
Yeah, when I
People,
get more weapons, dude, yeah, I'll get rid of it.
we don't need that, man. Get rid of the weapons.
No, I'm buying more weapons, more hand
That's
grenades.
what's gonna make. That's what's gonna make the people and the controllers and the elite and all those people. That's what's gonna make them attack you, kill you, and make you see as a threat. Get rid of
What,
the
pipe
guns.
bombs?
We don't need guns. You know what I mean? Go get a bow and arrow.
No, you just have to inject the shit into the pipeline and get rid
Go
of the whole thing.
Go get a bow and arrow. Go pick up a piece of music equipment. Go grow your own food. Go do something non. It's like
All you do is you grow apple
you're.
seeds.
That's the
Take
type
all,
of. We don't need wars here. We don't need wars. We
you
need
take all the
peace
apple
treaties.
seeds. All you do is take all the apple seeds and extract the cyanide, put it in your gas tank, drive your car real fast through the neighborhood, and everyone just dies.
Oh, it's like I used to do back in the day when I would want to destroy people's computers when they had a 3.5-inch floppy disk. I would take the floppy disk apart and then you get match tips. You know what matches are? It's got the little red thing on top, phosphorus or whatever. You grind all the.
No.
All right, man. This a good thing we don't have floppy drives, or I totally would get flagged for this. You grind all those down, and you put You put that on. You put clear nail polish on the top of the floppy disk with all that red stuff. You close it. You put it in there. And when it goes around like that, it catches on fire, and the whole thing melts down.
Nice.
So you put the 3.5. I think yeah, you put the floppy disk in there, but no, man.
Interesting.
The revolution is love, man. And if we're acting out of love, then the people that do want to kill people, like they want to kill people that see as a threat to the system. I see the system
Ideas are
as,
a threat to the system.
huh?
Ideas are a threat to the system.
Not if they're within the realms of the system. I
The
think
only
we need
is
government. I think the government
you need,
needs to change.
you
I think
need
we
to
need
create.
corporations. I think the corporations need to change. I think we need products. I
You
think we need
need
better
to,
products.
you need to have a social platform for people to speak on, so you can remove the competition sooner than people secretly doing it in the background like it was for many millions of years, or thousands of years.
I think you underestimate the power of the people.
What people? There's no people. There's only corporations, friend.
Well, you're a corporation, straw man.
Yeah, you're part of the corporation of America. You gotta get off the system and become an American. You're not an American until you claim it, because you're just a product born into the corporation. Once you claim it, you have $2 million in your account because they give you back.
That's a conspiracy, though.
That's a conspiracy.
I mean, there is a conspiracy that the fact is the dollar bill and the Social Security have the same amount of numbers.
I'm not talking about that. I'm
They're
talking
saying
about
people are traded on Wall Street. But dude, I am so cool with being a hamster in a cage. I am cool with it
you gotta
because
be.
it's all that I know. And if you took me out of my cage, dude, and put me somewhere else, I wouldn't know what to do. Honestly, I would not know what to do. I've been living on this cage with my friends too long. And how do you know you and I are two hamsters in a cage, hallucinating this entire experience?
Dude, that's why it's called a rat race, and that's why
I said
America,
hamster, bro. I said hamster.
a hamster and rat.
Well, how do you know we're not two hamsters inside of an AI system inside of a YouTube video right now? You don't.
Well, you chose it, so
Well, dude, all right, my hamster friend.
you chose born.
I chose it, as in
Yeah,
I chose to hallucinate this reality.
you didn't choose to hallucinate the reality. You chose to be born in the parents that you had
Maybe.
to experience something you needed to because it was boring on the other experiences and you needed something new.
Okay, well maybe I'm a hamster in a hamster on a balloon.
You're no hamster, man.
You don't know that. Prove it. I could be a
You're in a computer system because your soul lives forever.
you don't know it, like from
You
now
do.
on I'm gonna need verifiable information and evidence for the fact that I'm not a hamster skydiving from 300 feet from the
Every
sky.
soul, human religion, belief system says your soul lives forever. No one really says it goes away and you're gone forever.
Nobody knows this stuff. Nobody can
Then,
prove it.
then all of those systems and books are false. Your soul, you go to heaven. What's heaven? You're going back to the main.
Heaven is now, dude. Heaven is 5D. I'm in heaven now, chilling,
No,
chilling in
you're in
a,
the garden. You're in the garden. You're not in heaven.
I'm in the Garden of Eden.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
someone's manipulating it and took away your knowledge of where you are.
Not me. I'm woke. I'm awoke. I'm awakened.
Are we? Well, aren't we always waking up more and more every time we learn
There's
something?
levels to waking up. You wake up first thing in the morning, you're a little bit groggy, and you keep going.
Yeah. Until you realize that you're God.
Psalms 82, I am God, but with the lowercase g. But yo,
Well,
I'm gonna get going.
then there's no need for water. Turn it into wine. What did Jesus have to ask to make that happen?
But the ultimate thing is to be a cosmic space goat.
Alibaba?
Alibaba. Dude, I should put money into them a long
Shazam?
time ago.
I mean,
But yo,
Jesus had something to make that water turn into wine, right?
it was Kool-Aid.
No, he did something, man.
It was Kool-Aid.
It was
It could just have been powder. If I came back from powder, he, the world is not in an energetical field state of miracle stuff. I think of it as a collective. We raised our consciousness and raised our vibrations, started believing in stuff. Then we might be able to do stuff like that. But I think we are tethered to each other. We are all connected. I love you, bro. I'm gonna get going, but I got you. I'm always protecting you.
Well, you never know if the bottles had, you know, a membrane in there.
I think Jesus was legit. I think he could really manipulate
I
quantum reality and materialistic matter.
what
But
if what if
that'll be let's talk about Jesus another time because it's 7:30.
what
I
if
gotta
you
go to Whole Foods. Huh?
what if you liquefy hoofs and make a glue, and then put it in the bottle so that when the glue is there, it doesn't allow it to mix with the wine. So then you pour the bottle, and we run out of water. But then Jesus is looking at his watch, and he's like, "You know what time it is? It's about time that the hoof glue, the Elmer's that we put in there, is probably melted away, and everyone's complaining there's no more water. But check it out, guys. Why don't you move those bottles again? Because now there's wine in there because I made it
So you're
happen."
saying Jesus was a magician? We'll talk. All right. The next video we do will be Jesus is a
That's
magician.
engineering. That's engineering, isn't it?
Well, if you look up the word, look, we are all connected. And if you look up Jesus wasn't a carpenter, and you look up the actual,
What did carpenters need?
it
Glue.
meant engineer. No, carpenter in the Hebrew language meant, the word was called tekton, and it meant contractor, builder, handyman, Mr. Fix It, dude. They said he would have been designing bridges and buildings and all this other stuff. But
Yeah, but
yo,
they would glue, right?
I gotta get going, bro.
Think of all the things you can do with glue.
Oh yeah, if you bring super glue back to the ancient times, I'm sure you could have done a lot.
Super glue.
You just
Super
bring
glue
super glue and duct tape back to the ancient times, you would have been a
liquefy.
genius.
You liquefy the hoof.
Yeah, Elmer's glue comes from horse hose, but yo, we are all connected, and I gotta go.
Have the Vikings put the ships together.
Hit me up on Messenger. I gotta physically move this location.
Alright, man.
Bridging timelines over, and this, I can feel this timeline collapsing right now. This portal, whatever. If you go from portal to portal, this one's collapsing, so I gotta go.
Alright, man.
Peace.
Later, bro.
Yeah.